Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Cyprus. Just got back from Ayia Napa. Let's talk about this film, Batman Begins. This is not only my favourite Batman film ever made, but it's one of my favourite films ever too. Just a wonderful movie, and let me explain to you why. This is the first live-action Batman film that really fleshes out Bruce Wayne, and the casting of Christian Bale of Batman and Bruce Wayne was a genius move by Christopher Nolan. I mean, I'd seen Christopher Nolan's movies before, and he didn't really give you a clue in what type of thing Chris would do with a Batman film. This film is very special because it's got to be the most emotional CBM I have ever seen in my life. It really gets to you. The music is absolutely beautiful, and those emotional scenes, Hans Zimmer really captures them. When he's walking back into the mansion, when he's quit, was it Harvard? You just get the emotion of everything. The music really captures what Bruce Wayne's life has been, how he feels, and you're really part of that emotion when you see the backflash of Bruce with his parents on the monorail, and he's asking his dad questions. It's a brilliant scene, and again, great casting for the father of Bruce Wayne. That really worked for me. That relationship, you only see them together for maybe 2 or 3 minutes in the whole movie, but it really does work. And Chris Nolan is able to capture that father-son relationship. I mean, this movie was inspired by Superman the movie. Chris Nolan has an admiration for Dick Donner, the way he made Superman the movie. And I think it was done in a very similar fashion, getting really well-known actors in certain roles that really worked around Christian Bale. I mean, having Christian Bale act alongside Michael Caine was genius. Michael Caine as Alfred was genius, and I think without that casting, we would never have had Jeremy Irons as Alfred in the DCEU, which again is great casting. So you had the cast, but the film really did something that a CBM never did before. I mean, you could give me another 20 MCU movies and they'll never, ever capture this film. I prefer Batman Begins to The Dark Knight because we get so much face time with Bruce Wayne and Christian Bale. One thing that disappointed me about The Dark Knight was we didn't see much of Bale as Bruce Wayne, and the whole conversation was about Heath Ledger and his performance. Now, I love The Dark Knight. I don't want you to misunderstand me, but I just think Batman Begins, for me personally, has everything. It has action. It has emotion. It fleshes out its lead character. For me, Batman Begins is the perfect storm. Now, I've noticed quite a few people feel this way because I remember when The Dark Knight first came out, people saying, oh, well, look at Batman Begins. And let's address this. Batman Begins didn't make a lot of money. I think it made just under 400 million globally. That wasn't a lot. Don't forget there wasn't as many screens back then. Things had changed. I think IMAX had literally just been born. 3D, there wasn't 3D screens back then. But it still didn't make a lot of the money that Warner Brothers wanted. But the reason it got a sequel is because it did really well on DVD and Blu-ray. I was one of the people who at the time was living in a bedsit, couldn't even afford to eat, and scraped enough money, which was $9.99, to buy the Batman Begins DVD, which was all I could afford. I couldn't afford the Blu-ray. Blu-rays were really expensive back then because they were a new tech. But I wore that DVD out. It's just a wonderful film from start to finish. There isn't a dead period. There isn't a dead note in the film. And you look at an actor like Liam Neeson who's playing this character Deckard. You don't know he's Ra's al Ghul. That's amazing. So when you get to that last scene, when you realise he's Ra's al Ghul, you think, bloody hell, this is amazing. This is awesome. I would never have guessed that in a million years. It's a great twist. And The only problem with casting prominent actors in these roles is you have to kill them off. It happened with, this is why I didn't like what they did with the first Burton Batman film. They had to kill off Nicholson's Joker because he didn't want to come back for more, or he was far too expensive. It's happened a lot. And I was really happy with Heath Ledger, and unfortunately he tragically died, but at least they didn't kill him off. So we know there was rumours that they were going to bring him back for Rises, and I think Christopher Nolan has already confirmed that. You know, The Dark Knight Rises with maybe the Joker and Bane would have been awesome. I didn't really see the point of Catwoman. Catwoman should have been introduced within the trilogy. She should have been, forget Rachel, they should have brought in Selena Kyle from movie one and developed that relationship with Bruce Wayne. That would have made this Dark Knight trilogy an even better trilogy, but they didn't do that. But this first film, Batman Begins, it actually brought tears to my eyes. I really felt his emotion. Now, I've always liked Batman and Bruce Wayne. I've always been a fan, but Superman's always been my god. Simple as that. But this film, it didn't make me love Batman or Bruce Wayne more than Supes. That will never happen. But I did appreciate the character a lot more, and I became an even bigger Batman fan. As I say, it just gives you everything you need from a Batman movie, because at the time, and this was for a lot of people, not just for me, I'd come out of the cinema a few years earlier watching Batman and Robin. I thought Batman Begins was a sequel to Batman and Robin, and I wasn't interested until I saw the royal premiere and you saw people talking about it. And then I realised, you know what? This looks brilliant. I'm going to watch this. So I went on my own and watched it, because that's what I used to do back then. Go on, because you don't need company to watch films, do you? What's the point? People go in big groups to watch films, but why? You're just going to sit there. You can't talk, can you? So anyway, I saw this film on my own, and I got out, and I remember messaging my friend and saying, this film is amazing. And it really was. It just had so much depth, so much fleshing out. By the end of it, you couldn't wait for the sequel when they revealed the Joker card. Now, Christopher Nolan always says he wasn't planning for the Joker back then. He wasn't even maybe planning for a sequel. But it's interesting, isn't it, what happens when something's a little bit successful. And Batman Begins was a little bit successful. It didn't have the big outcry of, wow, this is the best. You know, every time Marvel do a movie now, the best CBM ever. If Marvel ever make the best CBM ever, I'll certainly be there to give them the credit they deserve, because Marvel, the MCU, have not made the best CBM ever yet. Maybe they will, but they haven't even got close to the Dark Knight trilogy. Batman Begins, The Dark Knight, even The Dark Knight Rises, which is, some people don't see as good a movie as the other two. And I actually think The Dark Knight Rises has got a brilliant concept within it when you test humanity's nature at the end. Do they press the button or not? That was fabulous by Christopher Nolan and just shows you the man's genius. So don't talk to me about the MCU. Yes, I've got the collection in my cupboard just across there. I like the films, but you're not talking about the best CBMs ever made. Let's get that right. Batman Begins is up there as one of the best comic book movies ever made, because it has emotion, it has great action, it really gets you invested, and you know what it does? It makes you want to be Batman. That's the thing. One of the issues with Batman v Superman, the film I really enjoy, by the way, is you don't really know Batman. You don't really know Bruce Wayne. He's just a bit in the shadows in that film. You don't know him well enough. That's the problem with it. But with Batman Begins, you start on this journey. He's a little boy. He's going out to explore criminality. And you could just really feel this guy's pain and what he's been through. And this is how you get people to like a film, to like a character. And as I say, the problem with BVS is, if you didn't know Batman, if you didn't know Bruce Wayne, you really wasn't going to know much about him in this film. Now, you can moan about origin stories as much as you like, but once you go to a new actor, you don't have to waste everyone's time with a 2.5-hour origin, but there needs to be an origin somewhere. And Batman Begins did it really quickly. So not only did you see an origin movie, but you saw a great first step, Batman being a hero, Batman having things like the Tumbler, which is a great creative conceit. Now, Christopher Nolan didn't want a Batmobile, but Warner Brothers forced him. So he creates the Tumblr because he didn't want to do anything camp. And it works. Everything works. You know, the way he discovers, you know, the Applied Sciences Division, which is brilliant. And, you know, that gives you a real place where you can find the stuff Batman uses, rather than people going, yeah, but how? But how? Oh, that's stupid. Because he goes to Applied Sciences, it really works, it's really relatable, and it's really believable. This film is a very, very special film. Shame Katie Holmes didn't come back for the second film. I don't know what the real truth of that was, because we kind of lost continuity, but Rachel Dawes still worked in The Dark Knight and didn't ruin The Dark Knight for anyone. So Batman Begins, definitely my favourite Batman film, just behind Batman Returns, again, which I think is a really good film. And nothing, I'll tell you, gets close in anything they've done about Batman to Batman Begins. Press the bell down below. Please subscribe. Please share. Please tell everyone about this channel if you like it. If you don't, I'm sorry. Keep it DC.